The cold air in the spire of bone was so still it felt like time had stopped. Ji-hwan stood in front of the emperor, his grease-stained shirt untucked, and his hands folded calmly in front of him. His eyes were tired but sharp, unafraid. Behind him, his dog Scrap waited silently, one paw wrapped in healing cloth, the other resting gently beside Ji-hwan's boot. His mechanical leg brace buzzed softly. The emperor did not rise from his tall silver throne. He sat still, his long dark cloak falling like water around him. His voice was quiet but strong. "He's disrupting everything," the emperor said again. Ji-hwan looked at him. "You mean he's making people think?" "He is making them question what I've built," the emperor said. "Symbols are not supposed to have teeth." Ji-hwan stepped forward slowly. "Maybe that's the problem. You built your empire on silence and fear. Scrap didn't. He just stood up." The emperor's eyes narrowed. "I could have him killed." Scrap didn't move. His one blue and one green eye stared back at the emperor like he wasn't afraid, like he had nothing left to lose and still wouldn't back down. Ji-hwan's voice didn't shake. "If you do that, you'll prove everything people already believe about you." The emperor looked away for a long moment. His hands rested on the carved arms of the throne. "You were very bold for a mechanic." "I fixed your palace," Ji-hwan said. "Twice. I didn't ask for a crown. I just didn't let someone worthy die." The emperor stood then, tall and cold and heavy with power. He walked slowly down the steps, each footstep echoing like metal on bone. He stopped in front of Scrap. "This beast. This broken thing." He looked down. "He has become more than you or I." Scrap didn't blink. He didn't growl. He simply watched. The emperor lowered his voice. "What do I do with something like that?" Ji-hwan took a breath. "Let him be." The emperor turned to him. "That's dangerous." "So is truth," Ji-hwan replied. A long silence followed. Then the emperor reached into his robe and took out a small steel badge. He looked at it, then dropped it onto the floor in front of Scrap. "He belongs to no one now. Not to the empire. Not to you. Let him walk free. But know this, Mechanici has made enemies. Many who wear pretty clothes and speak with soft voices." Ji-hwan nodded. "Then let them come. We'll still be here." And he picked up the badge and clipped it to Scrap's collar. That night, Ji-hwan returned to the forge. The tunnel smelled like oil and fire, but it was home. Scrap limped beside him, quiet and alert, his ears twitching every now and then. The other workers in the tunnel looked up when they entered. Then they stood, every single one. Someone clapped, then another. Soon the tunnel was filled with soft applause, like rain on steel. No speeches, just respect. Scrap's head tilted. He wagged his tail once. Ji-hwan smiled. "Yeah, you earned that." Days passed. Then weeks. The parade that the emperor had planned to control the people didn't go the way he wanted. Ji-hwan refused to use the golden leash. Scrap refused to, simply walking away when it was offered. Instead, when the big day came, they walked side by side, man and dog, scarred and simple. The crowd fell silent at first. Then a child shouted, "It's him, Scrap." The silence broke into cheers. Everywhere they looked, people wore handmade bracelets shaped like Scrap's leg brace. Some painted his strange face on their shirts. Mechanics from other systems carried banners with his name. They didn't see a pet anymore. They saw hope. Scrap didn't bark. He didn't pose. He just walked with quiet strength. His fur was still messy. His leg brace still clicked. But every step he took made someone believe a little more. In the far back, the emperor watched from a tall tower. He said nothing. But behind him, advisors whispered in fear. "This wasn't the plan. He's become a symbol. A symbol we can't control." Down below, Ji-hwan and Scrap reached the end of the road. Fireworks exploded. Skyships painted lights across the sky. But Scrap didn't care about that. He just looked at Ji-hwan. Ji-hwan smiled. "You want to go home, huh?" Scrap wagged his tail again. Back in the tunnels, life slowly returned to normal. Or, as normal as it could be when your best friend was now known across the galaxy. But Ji-hwan didn't treat him any different. Scrap still got the same bowl of nutrient soup. He still slept beside the heater coil. Still chewed on old metal parts like they were bones. And people kept visiting. Old war veterans came to pat him. Gently. Children brought tiny gifts, a screw here, a shiny bolt there. Even the veteran guards, who once laughed at him, now left food beside his bed. One day, a young engineer named Dasyok, quiet and soft-spoken, walked up to Ji-hwan. "Sir," he said shyly, "I used to think broken things had no value." Ji-hwan looked up from his workbench. And now, I want to build things that matter, not just for profit. He looked at Scrap, because he mattered, even when he was broken. Ji-hwan nodded slowly. Good, start there. But not everyone was happy. Some nobles plotted quietly in their towers. They said the dog had gone too far, that no beast should inspire people to rise. So they planned something cruel late one night. A poison dart was fired into the tunnel. Ji-hwan was hit. He dropped to the floor, shaking, coughing. Scrap howled. He ran across the room, grabbed Ji-hwan's sleeve, and pulled him toward the mid-unit. His body burned. His leg brace sparked. But he didn't stop. He slammed the button with his paw. The alarm rang out. Help arrived just in time. Ji-hwan survived. But Scrap collapsed from overstrain. His brace was broken. His ribs cracked. His fur burned at the edges. When Ji-hwan woke up, the healers told him what happened. He stared at Scrap sleeping on the table. He saved me again. The next day, the news spread like fire. They tried to kill the man who saved the palace. But the beast, once called trash, saved him again. The people were done being quiet. They marched across Vitor, across the moons, even on Earth colonies. People carried signs. Scrap's face was painted in every color. Words lit up the skies. Not perfect, just loyal. We are all Scrap. You can't throw us away. The Emperor said nothing. But inside, he knew. Something had changed forever. Scrap woke 3 days later. He opened his mismatched eyes and looked at Ji-hwan. You're still here, Ji-hwan whispered. Scrap wagged his tail once. Ji-hwan laughed weakly. You never quit, do you? The forge workers rebuilt Scrap's brace with stronger parts. They used alloy from the Emperor's own war. Machines donated quietly by a mechanic who believed in them. And 1 week later, Scrap walked again. He limped, but he walked. A year passed. Scrap was no longer just a symbol. He was a legend. A dog who had been thrown away and still chose to protect. A beast who taught people that worth didn't come from birth, but from choice. Ji-hwan never asked for medals, but one arrived anyway. It was shaped like a gear, with 2 colors inside, green and blue. Just like Scrap's eyes. The Emperor finally spoke in public again. He didn't mention Scrap by name, but he said, the Empire must now listen to those it once ignored, and he ordered new programs, ones that helped the cast-offs, the broken, the forgotten. Scrap never asked for that. He just sat beside Ji-hwan, chewing on another piece of old metal, eyes half closed. But now, even the stars seemed to watch him. Once trash, now treasure, not because he was perfect, but because he chose to love someone when he had every reason not to. And the galaxy never forgot. They never would.